Entab is an educational technology company that has been delivering solutions since 2000 to improve the productivity, efficiency, and reputation of a good school and transform it into the best school. We understand the problems schools face while managing various activities, so we endeavor to automate and simplify their tasks. Besides 100% accountability and communication, safety, security, and stability are also vital. The speed, accuracy of the information and the dependability on the service providers ensures a smile on the faces of the customers. We do understand that learning is based on various factors, and we acknowledge the need of 3D contents, augmented reality and virtual reality can help visual and kinesthetic students excel in learning, helping us prepare a new India. The long association of schools, repeated sales, reference sales, and delivering as an innovator in the education domain. The new philosophy of the company is to look for new, next, and better in every area. Entab is an educational technology company that has been delivering solutions since 2000 to improve the productivity, efficiency.
Feel the music.
Educating through music, enriching lives, bringing dreams to reality, giving more meaning to life. Educating through music, enriching lives, bringing dreams to reality, giving more meaning to life. Touching hearts, touching souls, turning frowns into smiles, empowering our hearts with the energy to cross 1,000,000 miles. Touching hearts, touching souls, turning frowns into smiles, empowering our hearts with the energy to cross 1,000,000 miles. Furtados School of Music, where the music always flows. Furtados School of Music, where the knowledge always grows. Furtados School of Music, where the musicians are born. Furtados School of Music, the name we proudly adore.
Feel the music.
Educating through music, enriching lives, bringing dreams to reality, giving more meaning to life. Educating through music, enriching lives, bringing dreams to reality, giving more meaning to life. Touching hearts, touching souls, turning frowns into smiles, empowering our hearts with the energy to cross 1,000,000 miles. Touching hearts, touching souls, turning frowns into smiles, empowering our hearts with the energy to cross educating through music.
Entab is an educational technology company that has been delivering solutions since 2000 to improve the productivity, efficiency, and reputation of a good school and transform it into the best school. We understand the problems schools face while managing various activities, so we endeavor to automate and simplify their tasks. Besides 100% accountability and communication, safety, security, and stability are also vital. The speed, accuracy of the information and the dependability on the service providers ensures a smile on the faces of the customers. We do understand that learning is based on various factors, and we acknowledge the need of 3D contents, augmented reality and virtual reality can help visual and kinesthetic students excel in learning, helping us prepare a new India. The long association of schools, repeated sales, reference sales, and delivering as an innovator in the education domain. The new philosophy of the company is to look for new, next, and better in every area. Entab is an educational technology company that has been delivering solutions since 2000 to improve the productivity.
Feel the music.
Educating through music, enriching lives, bringing dreams to reality, giving more meaning to life. Educating through music, enriching lives, bringing dreams to reality, giving more meaning to life. Touching hearts, touching souls, turning frowns into smiles.
Entab is an educational technology company that has been delivering solutions since 2000 to improve the productivity, efficiency, and reputation of a good school and transform it into the best school. We understand the problems schools face while managing various activities, so we endeavor to automate and simplify their tasks. Besides 100% accountability and communication, safety, security, and stability are also vital. The speed, accuracy of the information, and the dependability on the service providers ensures a smile on the faces of the customers. We do understand that learning is based on various factors, and we acknowledge the need of 3D contents, augmented reality, and virtual reality can help visual and kinesthetic students excel in learning, helping us prepare a new India. The long association of schools, repeated sales, reference sales, and delivering as an innovator in the education domain. The new philosophy of the company is to look for new, next, and better in every area.
Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of CampusCare EdTalks. I'm your host Namisha, and in this live webinar, we have three very special guests with us to share their viewpoint and guide us on social and emotional learning. Our first guest is the principal of GD Goenka Public School, Pune, Bihar, where she has been instrumental in developing a student-centric approach towards academics, resulting in holistic development of a child. So before this, she was the principal of Al Saad Indian School in the Middle East, and where she has been decorated with numerous awards and achievements. Also, adding to the list of her accolades, she was also the principal of the biggest school in Ernakulam. She was in Alamein Public School. She was also heading Chinmay Vidyalayas, where she played an integral role in collective growth of students and teachers alike. So, with a big round of applause, I would like to welcome Saroja ma'am. Welcome to the Ed Talks, ma'am.
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you so much for the beautiful introduction.
So, the other esteemed guest is Ms. Dharini Upadhyay, co-founder of Furtados School of Music. Over to you, Dharini ma'am, for a brief introduction about Furtados and yourself.
Great. Thank you, Nivisha. Hi, friends. Thank you to Saroja ma'am and Himanshu for this joint platform. I'm the co-CEO and co-founder of Furtados School of Music, which is one of the largest music education company in the country today. And what can I say? Music is all about passion. Music is all about making your emotional empathy and creative quotient come to life. And with that vision, of making this music education accessible to almost all children in our country, we started Furtados School of Music, which comes with a lineage of over 154 years. Furtados is the largest retail distribution brand for musical instruments in the country. But education is something that is very, very close to our heart. And especially in the current times with stay-at-home mandates where we all, are trying to cope with these new changes and new lifestyles that we are forced to adapt to. I think music does just such amazing wonders with one and all, irrespective of age groups. So happy to be here, happy to be a part of this conversation about social and emotional well-being, and I'm sure we have many more interesting conversations to have as we go along. Thank you, Nimisha.
Definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, lastly, I would like to welcome Mr. Himanshu Singh Rialj, who is head of marketing of Entab. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. My name is Himanshu. Hi guys, welcome to our channel. So we are a 20-year-old IT company who's been engaged in providing school management services and software and mobile apps for over 20 years now. And it is one of our, again, we have different programs running with us, and EdTalks is one of those programs wherein we are trying to build a community of for the holistic development of students. So, in order to uplift the level of education, this is the purpose. I thought I should come on board and finally mention the purpose of this channel that we're doing. So, we have different stakeholders involved, like GD Goenka and then Furtados as well. So, the whole idea and purpose behind it is that we together as a community come together and uplift each other and grow collectively. So, meanwhile, with this thing in mind, I would like to begin the session, and I would like to take this honor and as well as privilege to begin this session by asking Saroja ma'am about if she could just give our audience a little knowledge and brief about social emotional learning and what is it all about.
Thank you, Manshu, for the once again for the lovely work that your company is doing. I'm happy that you people have been in this service for the past 20 years. You have been conducting ed talks with the academicians, educationists, for the welfare of the students. And I'm actually humbled that I've been given a platform today to speak about how to be social in the social emotional learning scenario. Before I start with my experiences, I would, want to talk about the culture of India way back, eons back. If you just focus a bit on our culture, we were into the Gurukula system. Let's start with that. We were into the Gurukula system where the children, okay, were the children of the kings and the royal families, along with the other children also, but there was a complete, difference in the social strata. The children of kings, the royal families, at the same time, the children of peasants. Everyone came and studied together in an atmosphere where, there was total development of the child. If you take the four pillars over there, it would be your intellectual development, a sustainable pillar for the child, because whatever he learned at the Gurukula, he practiced that in his coming years. Okay, I'll come to that how we practice it today, or how maybe it had gone into oblivion during the British times. So that was the intellectual pillar which a child developed over there. Then came the physical pillar again, okay, because all this contributes to your social emotional learning only, and I'll come to that how it contributes. The third was your mental pillar, and the fourth was the spiritual pillar. These all pillars came together and they gave a shape to the personality of the children. Irrespective of from whatever the child came, every child was treated equally. They had to go to the forest, collect logs, okay, for the Guru Mata, do cooking with the Guru Mata, clean the place of the Guru, sleep on rougher surfaces. There was nothing that, the king's son had a very plush bed to sleep, and the peasant's son had a rough surface to sleep. So that was something which was equal for everyone. And if you see some scenes of Ramayana where clearly it is shown when the royal family children have to go to the Guru's ashram, because mother's heart is full of compassion. If you use the word too much of love for the children, isn't it, for her kids? So a point comes when she tells the guru, why can't the royal chariot take the child to the guru's house? Immediately the guru says, now the phase of sacrifice has come for the child. Even learning is a sort of sacrifice. So the child is going to spend okay, a chunk of his time, maybe quite few years in the Rishi's ashram. So here it starts for him. So he should know what is the value of learning. If I remember that scene well, we should strike our parents. Okay, it's something. So it is not something that we started maybe a decade back or 2 decades back. It is not something like that. It was our culture. It was the Indian culture. But unfortunately, what happened? We had a regime of being a colonial country. Okay, I don't even want to use, but yes, being the colonial country, it happened such that our education system was transformed in such a manner that they wanted to churn out only people who would work for them. They never wanted to churn out thinkers, philosophers, problem solvers, because they wanted a set of people who would say, yes, sir, this is how it has to be done. You do it, and this is how it has to be done. So you blindly follow them. Then came an era when your country got independence. We were still relying on what was given to us. Okay, we were following that. Again, if you go back to Rabindranath Tagore's, Shanti Niketan, where children learned a set of skills, isn't it? That made them strong. Because when you say social emotional learning, it is all about just not the academic success in the school. A child just not getting, getting mastery over some laws of physics or maybe some formulas of mathematics or solving a problem in maths or just by hearting a few lines of the poetry from Shakespeare or Keats. It's not that. That is not what learning is all about. Learning is something that the child, the way I said, it is sustainable, which child takes it with him, which makes him successful in life. I can, quote it because I have been an educator. I have risen from the position of a teacher to that of a academic coordinator and then to a principal. That is how my journey has been. So if you say my approach to education has been very practical because I've chosen students from the classroom. That is what I have done. Churning students from the classroom, okay, giving them an opportunity to self-learn, express, where like we said, that social factor or the emotional factor has come into being. Now, like Nimisha said, I started my journey with Chinmaya Vidyalayas, where there's something called the Chinmaya Vision Program, which talks about the total integration of a child's personality. We are given our regular trainings as to what has to happen. So I go with a small example of mine, which has happened with one of my students in grade 12. So his name was Deepak Menon. He used to be quite distracted in my classes. So one day while I was taking a lesson, I saw this boy reading a Harold Robbins, which was kept inside the English textbook of mine. I could have created a big scene over there telling him, how come you're doing this? Okay, what is your problem? But I knew if I tell this boy, his aversion towards English would be much more, his aversion towards me. And I could have, even what I could have done, I could have called for his parents and they made it a big issue. Because if you all know for well, Harold Robbins, for a child of grade 12, is way ahead of his times. Will not be able to analyze because there's a lot of conflict between our Indian ethos, I would not even use the word Indian culture, but what actually, okay, let us not use the word tradition also, a contemporary cultural background should have for the kids, okay? Because there's a certain value system that we expect from our kids, which will help them to go long in life. Because when you say learning, I again told you, it is just not confined to academic success, isn't it? Learning is all about using your skills in your later part of the life. I saw this boy reading this. I did not tell him anything. I said, Deepak, I would like to meet you after the class. I spoke to the boy. I said, I saw you reading that. I said, I'm happy that you are wanting to enhance on your vocabulary. Maybe that is why you're reading this book. You want to know how authors write differently. That could be the reason why you're reading the book. And as a teacher, I was very candid with him. I told him, I have read this book. I've read different sorts of literature because for me, when I was a student or as I grew up, I wanted to explore different avenues. But I can tell you one thing, Deepak. I will definitely, since you started reading this book, I would want you to read this book completely. Read this book completely and you analyze what will you take in life from this book. And what is that you would want to shed off? Once you read this, what you feel is redundant, you should shed off from this book. You please read it. Now, see, there was a different sort of an approach. If I wanted, I could have gone to the staff room, told the teachers, made a big hue and cry, but it was personal between the child and me. Neither his parents were involved in it. The child read that book. You'll not believe he came to me, he said, "Ma'am, there are certain things which I feel I should not be practicing at this age." I said, "Yes, that is why I wanted you to read and analyze." So don't you think at that stage I developed an analytical skill in that child? Okay, and my learning with the child, isn't it? He has developed a skill, and that skill is through an analytical factor that has happened between the dialogue that happened between me and the child. It was a dialogue that happened. The child was there, I was there, and the child gained a certain perspective of life through this interaction. So that is what is all is social emotional learning. And today I can very proudly tell you that the child is doing very well. He is in the best defense academy of our India and is doing very well. So this is okay, this is what the teachers of today they need to practice. One example I gave, so I think it is very well understood by the academicians and the educators that how you can develop this. It is subconsciously developing these skills in the children through a very different approach in the classroom. Now, next thing, we talk about like I said, whatever we did, whatever our system was doing, it has been recreated by a group of Western people, and it has been given to us, or I would rather say it is, old wine in new bottles. They gave, if you remember well, we had the continuous and comprehensive evaluation system way back in 2009. Let's go back to that system. Actually, that system was not a failure. That system was indeed very good. And that's something being practiced in schools otherwise also. That is being practiced in schools because you're allowing, it's just not a pen paper assessment. When you say, I'm just focusing on a pen paper assessment to see what my child can do the best. What am I doing? I'm dipping his confidence level. Learning happens through media platforms. And that is where your social emotional learning comes in the forefront. You give the child the confidence. There's nothing called a laggard. There's nothing called a bright child. Okay, there's nothing called. I don't believe that. There's nothing. Okay, in the dictionary of the teachers where you should call a child a laggard or a gifted child or an average child. Every child learns in a different mode, and every child has got a capacity which is quite different from others. If that is understood well by the teachers, and you need to create platforms, like we said, see, anyone can lecture what is social emotional learning. But if you can create different platforms, have practical approaches for that. And I can see as an educator, you create a platform where you have something called the enrichment time for the students. Don't call it a remedial teaching. There's nothing called remedial teaching. You create an enrichment time in your, if you have 7 periods of English, okay, you have 1 period for enrichment time. You give them where, every child has got, there is a space for every child to work according to it. Say, it is an extended learning for you. You can challenge yourself. Use such positive words. Challenge yourself. It's an extended learning hour for you. Once you challenge a child, he starts understanding this is my, rather than saying you do a SWOT analysis. Okay, every week you do a SWOT analysis. How practical it is, isn't it? You're making it sound like a theory, but here what did you do? You have intertwined that system in your learning itself. You have intertwined that system in your learning, and then you have an enrichment time for the child. And every child, you say, okay, you do your work, and come on, I have got a soft board for you where you can put up your work. And how happy the child feels, because every child you have given them. And again, like I said, teaching, it's not a complex process, but it is a work of passion. So the teacher has to realize it. In my class of 30 students, I've got different students who have got different capacities of learning. It is not like one shoe size fits all. So once you create such, and I'm saying only once in a week you need to create such worksheets. And once you do it, see, every child is capable. Because you said you have not even used the word compulsory for all. Oh, let me see how many of you can solve this. So there might be certain questions, and you as an intelligent teacher, you have to frame such questions where every child is able to do. And as a teacher, you're intelligent enough, you know your children, and once you go there, you have a, you give them a space, okay, you give a personalized touch to that child. Okay, oh my, you're doing it. Okay, yeah. Here you have got stuck. I think you can use this method. Isn't it that sort of positive reinforcement helps a child to do better, isn't it? That is what is all social emotional learning is all about. Okay, and before an exam, allow every child to set his or her targets, because you're not telling them, no, you should be a 90% scorer. Everyone has to be a 95% scorer. That doesn't make any difference, because life is not all about marks. Let your classes have, some posters of people who have done exclusively well in different fields. For example, Shankar Mahadevan, by profession is an engineer, but he is excelling himself in the world of music, right? So if you put such posters for the children, they do understand, okay, I'm a pot of talent. I've got different things in me. And what we do here also, we have a procedure where we say we have a system of activity chart of students' participation. And when the parents come for open house, we share that with them and we tell them, there's a future readiness, and we share that with the children also. And we give them, and there's a way, if you create an appreciation tree in the class and you give them stars for what best work they're doing. It is not necessary that a child who's, again, like you said, there's a general notion with the educators and academicians. You must have seen, good at English, weak at maths. How generic such statements are. What do you mean, good at English? How do you, make it specific? When you say good at English, there are so many skills, because every subject has got certain skills, and that is what we are aiming at. And this is how we do it. A child might be well, he might need to, and never use the word poor. The moment you use the word poor for the child, he loses his interest and he loses his confidence. There's a way that the child can work towards it. Sometimes tell the child, "Ma, I'm so happy you have surpassed my expectations." Use such positive reinforcement for the children. And then see every child comes in. Because after all, social emotional learning says that how can the academic success complement success in life? That is what is all social emotional learning is all about. And when I talk about academic success, I'm just not talking about the grades that a child attains in a particular subject. Academic success is all round success in a school, because you have to weave this, as I told you, the intellectual, the mental, the physical, and the spiritual pillar. It has to be woven in the weft and wrap of the education system. When you talk about the mental pillar, it is all the grooming, the personality grooming of the child, the confidence building in the child. When you talk about the spiritual pillar, he should know what actually benevolence means. What is care, compassion, charity, the 3C formula. Because it's not all about living for yourself. Give them examples of industrialists or, entrepreneurs who do a lot for the society, because we never know what the child can become tomorrow. And when you give them, and when you, it's not educating them, it's making them realize and understand. Similarly, when the
Absolutely.
parents come, they come with an apprehension for the open house. My God, what will I hear about my child? Because usually that's a normal procedure where the teacher either says, "Bhai, aapka bacha isme this thing hai, in that he is doing okay." So they have a fear that what they are going to talk about, what the weakness of my child is going to be projected. Again, as I told you, there's nothing weak. There's nothing weak in a child. Let's shut off that word weak from the dictionary. Let's shut off that word poor from the dictionary. These are the
Right.
two networks. Okay, if you are able to shut it off and you tell the parent, and see, there's if you can create a system where you make the child so confident, the child only is inviting his parents and telling the parent, okay, Papa, this is what I've done in my English this time. I've done really well for my writing skills, but I think my teacher says, I need to be a good listener too. How happy the parent. I've been good at problem solving, but I think somewhere I need to develop on my mental ability. I've done this innovation so
Absolutely,
well.
ma'am. Absolutely. So, ma'am, taking cue from that, I would like to have some point of view from Dharini, ma'am, and because she's from you spoke about music, so that's why I wanted to take cue from that. Dharini, ma'am, how important music is when it comes to social emotional learning? What sort of activities maybe you can suggest, or some tips and tricks you can suggest, which will help us in building a much emotional and emotionally stronger students, especially during these talks that we're having about mental depression and everywhere. We know what's going on in the news. Nobody is unaware of, right? So, what would be your viewpoint? Over to you, ma'am.
Sure. Thank you, Manshu. I think, I must share with you guys a quick perspective, and I'm sure it's going to be very helpful for all others as well. NCRT chairperson had conducted a very nice seminar for school leaders across the country, basically to address the concerns of all the educationists at this point in time in terms of how do you really go about, conducting academics, assessments, examinations, what is the future of students for this year, and how are we going to really progress. So, and while answering all these questions, while he, of course, iterated and told all of them how he is going to, how schools can come up with innovative concepts of conducting regular assessments for students, he mentioned a very beautiful thing that, we must all stay focused on all-rounded development of our child. If academics is supposed to be given a miss or is not possible at this point in time, please focus on skill development. Focus on the passions of your children. Focus on art. Focus on music. Focus on social skills that you can build up, during this time, because it's going to be a lot more meaningful and it will contribute towards the mental wellness of children. If children are mentally well, they will do academically well, but vice versa will not hold true. We all know about that in the real world. And to take your question forward, Imanshu, I think, in today's day and age, kids really need to engage in a lot more, sort of activities that help them derive joy and happiness while doing so. If I love to dance, my parents must encourage me to probably onboard, and to an online dance. If drawing is my passion, I must pursue that passion. If musical instrument, if learning a musical instrument has always been my dream and I never got an opportunity to do so, I should pursue that. Singing, some of these amazing things. See, music has a calming effect on people. This is proven by research. When you play music, there is a chemical called dopamine, which is generated in a human being's brain, which is nothing but a chemical of happiness, which makes you feel far more happier and calmer after going through that whole experience. What do you want right now? Right now, people are so anxious, so wound up. All you need to do is give them exposure to activities which will help them calm this anxiousness, calm the stress that they feel also because of going through this whole lifestyle change and about the uncertainties that face. So I think a lot of people should indulge into, quickly making or going through their bucket list that they always made about things that they always wanted to do, which they never got to do. And I also suggest this to parents because the anxiousness of parents get on to the anxiousness of the children. If I, as a mother, is constantly anxious, my child is also going to be anxious. It is going to have a rub off effect. So it's important. I always tell all moms and dads also that take an hour off. Do what you guys love to do. Spend that time, enjoy yourself, do a joint activity if that is, if there is a common interest there, and make this whole period of staying at home together more fun, more towards building positive emotions with one another, because that will go a long, long way after this lockdown is over.
Right. Any other question? I'm sure you want to
Yeah.
ask to Saroja, ma'am. I'm pretty sure you have
Yes,
a lot of
ma'am.
them.
Saroja, ma'am, I wanted to ask you one very specific question that, the cases of student bullying and harassment are increasing very frequently these days. So, as a school leader, how do you address these challenges, a sense of empathy and self awareness in children?
Yeah. Like, I was just speaking to you about collaborative learning. Now, what we do in our school is, uh, not only in my school, let me tell you what educators can do in their school to see that bullying or harassment where one child doesn't feel superior over the others. For that, if you have got a system where every child gets an opportunity, as a policy called, no child left behind, is it? Because every child has got something or the other in them. So in a classroom also, if you can sometimes practice heterogeneous groups, okay, where the teacher is there to support the children, and that heterogeneous group where you say, I don't want to use the word weak or something, where they require attention, okay. So there are certain concepts where some group would require more attention from the teacher, or you have collaborative learning process where you have a system where every child according to his, or like you say, a group activity where every child is given a role according to their capabilities, because every child has got a capability. One might be good at drawing, okay, in that group activity said you become the, master artist of the group, okay, you become the time recorder of the group, okay, you become the group captain, okay, you should be the one who will be estimating the points, and you should be the one who is to present. So everyone is working according to their caliber and capability. So children have a feeling that no one is there in my class who is not, as competent as I am. Because once the children start getting a feeling that I'm the most competent in this class, he or she has a air of, superiority, or he or she starts asserting over others. And when you're giving a platform, maybe like you sometimes have an assembly show where every child is given a role according to their capacities, because everyone has got something or the other, isn't it? You give them those platforms. Okay, you have your competencies and value where every child says this is a competency that I developed. Okay, this is a value system that I have gained. But every child is given a role according to their capability, a role clarity. That is what I would suggest. And in the classroom also, like I said, you talk about the multiple intelligences. And you put a chart in the classroom, say, "Hi Kashish, I know that you're a linguistic learner, but you love music too. Hi Roshan, I know that your spatial awareness is too good, so I would want you to conduct a role play. You will be the leader of this role play." See, every child, if you have a positive remark in the class, because that is up to the teacher, where you practice a positive remark for every child. Because once you have a multiple intelligence questionnaire, children are going to pick according to their preferences, and from that you can estimate everything. And because today's international schools or whatever it is, you don't have more than 25 to 30 children in the classroom. So once this happens, every child knows that no child is devoid of a quality. It usually happens when a teacher, let me tell you, one way, I don't want to blame the educators, but this happens because there are teachers who prefer a certain group of children who are always the best. You only perform. Once you have this, some attitude in your mind that only these group of children are good and they need to be on the stage always, that dampens the spirits of others. Don't practice that ever. You have system where every child is given a role according to their capability, and see how you can the bus make it practical.
Definitely, ma'am. Dharni, ma'am, I have a question for you. Music has it has proved to increase cultural attachment. So, don't you think like learning music will help them in help the students in all learning these negative things and learn more positive things from our culture?
Sorry, I think I was on mute. You're absolutely right about that, Divisha. Bang on. Music learning not only gives you cultural affinity, but it also evokes great amount of positive emotions for you. Builds your ear for music, gives you a great sense of creativity. It builds your whole right brain development. Music is one of the primary contributors towards ensuring maximum activity in your brain when you're learning music. So it actually, there's a very beautiful video which is available on YouTube by Dr. Anita Collins, which everybody must watch, which actually exemplifies that when you're playing a musical instrument, how all parts of your brain are active. Your exposure increases, your ability to make conversations increases, because music is a universal language. We all want our children to be confident citizens. We want them to be global citizens. We want them to travel across the board. When I meet people from different backgrounds, from different countries, music is a great way to build those connections, across culture as well. So there are so many more merits, that music and all other art-related activities bring into children, and it also helps you build a great sense of grit, because music and art activities and sports, like any other thing, helps you build this never say die attitude which you need in the real life, right? You want your child to pursue success even after every failure that he or she meets time and again, and that is nothing but a sense of grit. How do you help your child build that grit? Through all these activities. And I think, for me, from where I see it, all these play a very, very important role in creating a very strong personality in any child today for many, many more years to come. And I think it's a blessing in disguise in the current environment. We always complain of scarcity of time, scarcity of access to things that I wanted to always do. So this is a beautiful opportunity to make the most of it. And you can do all of that on one single platform. So Furtados School of Music has launched fsmbuddy.com. The URL goes as www.fsmbuddy.com. And you can get anything from dance to speech and drama to values to musical instruments to doing foreign languages. You can explore the universe of creative activities for yourself as well as for your child. You can do these things together and see what a beautiful bond you will build with your child.
Definitely, ma'am. I have one last question for sir. So, sir, like today, tech-based education, artificial intelligence, virtual reality is showing innovating ways to teach, social and emotional learning skills to students. So, what are your opinions on these developments?
Well, it's quite strange if you're asking me the tech question, me being from Entab and asking this tech question seems a bit unfair to all the other participants. But yeah, to be honest, we have a lot of tech involved innovations which are going on. If I talk about Entab specifically, then we have different modules wherein we can track a behavior of a or the performance of a student. Remember, when it comes to social emotional learning or when it comes to mental health, all these factors are interdependent on each other. And according to us, what we've always believed in is, I'm pretty sure ma'am also said the same thing, that communication plays a vital role in student development. So what Entab has done, it is not a new thing. We have been doing this for over 20 years now. We have made dedicated communication tools between parents, students, and all the other stakeholders involved. So whether it's principal, just like Saroja ma'am, or it's the management of the school, or it's a student, so all these people can safely and securely communicate with each other. Now, during this COVID era, we also have online classes wherein online counseling sessions can go on for students to learn about to know about their emotional base and what are they going through because these are tough times. Let's be honest. People are in isolation. Kids are in isolation. They can't go out. They can't play outside, right? So we have different online platforms available with NTAP. I'm pretty sure once after this webinar gets over, I will discuss them with Saroja ma'am personally. So, we have a lot of artificial intelligence, machine learning going on with our softwares as well. And plus, we have certain learning management systems when it comes to augmented reality, virtual reality, which engages the child. Remember, engagement plays a very important role in his mental development. So, whether it's emotional development or mental development, we have to keep the child engaged at all costs. So this is what we have seen, whether it was in the past, because this is not a new thing. This is like ma'am said, it has been going on since our old guru, right? And before, if I follow a very famous scientist, Nikola Tesla, and I'm a huge avid fan. So Nikola Tesla was the greatest scientist who ever lived, but he died a lonely, depressed man because he was not good socially and he was not good emotionally. So, but he was the greatest inventor in the world. So I guess all our child, whether it's through Furtados School of Music, by learning music, whether it's through teaching of educators like Saroja ma'am, or whether it is using our software or some other tech involved activities. The whole idea is to get a holistic development for the child and build a strong environment for them. So I guess I should take your move now. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, with all such keynotes and trivial inputs, we would like to end today's session on a very positive and high note. Please subscribe to the channel in case you haven't yet. And thank you so much, Saroja ma'am. Thank you so much, Dharini ma'am, for coming on board with us. And thank you all for tuning into EdTalks. Catch you tomorrow with another exciting episode of Entab Presence Campus Care EdTalks. Till then, stay home and stay safe and keep watching our videos. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nimisha. Thank you. Thank you, Saroja ma'am. Nice meeting you.
Thank you, Dharani ma'am. Thank you, Nimisha.
Thank you, ma'am.